you are plateaued. Your business has plateaued. It isn't growing. It isn't shrinking. You're just going day to day, and your business has plateaued. And you're looking for what is next for me as a business owner. What is next for my team as a business owner? I have had a coach every day since the day I started an Action Coach, and I will continue.
Hey, well, welcome everyone. My name is Tanner O'Brien. I'm one of the senior partners here at Action Coach in Central Texas. I'm joined with my business partner and my father, Andy O'Brien, senior partner, master coach here in the firm. Excited to just kind of jump in, talk a little bit in this kind of newer series that we're doing, talking business, talking coaching, talking a whole bunch of different stuff when it comes to kind of what are some commonly asked questions, things like that when it comes to our business. So Andy and I were having a conversation, I don't know, about a week ago or so, and we were talking about the difference between business coaching and executive coaching and kind of what that means today in kind of this amazing world that we live in. Andy, I know you and I have spoken about how you got into this thing back in 2011. Nobody knew what a business coach was back then. Now it's a much more
No,
common thing. So I'd love to kind of hear your take on maybe a little bit on like the how business coaching has changed or the concept of it has changed and kind of your thoughts on what is business coaching today, especially as it relates to Action Coach specifically, and then maybe a little bit on what executive coaching kind of looks like too.
excellent. Well, thanks for having me. So, to go back to that question, business coaching, 14 years ago, it was, oh my gosh, your business is in trouble. You need a coach or you need a consultant. And it really has transitioned to that, oh my gosh, why don't you have a coach? And how can you have a trusted advisor, a second set of eyes to help guide you through the day to day, business juggernaut that we're living today? And it's so interesting that, in today, you would never send a professional football team or a baseball team or a basketball team or a debate team or a chess team. You would never send a professional team out onto the battlefield of life without somebody guiding the team. And I think that's a really big point that we have to make is somebody has to be there to guide you through the trees in the forest. We joke many times about, oh, is it the forest and the trees or the trees in the forest? Well, what if it's neither and it's the flower that's right in front of the forest that you need to be paying attention to? Our job in that simple scenario is we're there to help all the players call a timeout when they most need it. We're there to step back and look at it from a non-emotional standpoint and give guidance based on tools, experience, business acumen, and most important, history of the business.
Hmm. So you have the opportunity to chat with so many different business owners out there, of all different sizes, and different industries, things like that. Um, how if I'm one of the business owners that you're chatting with, how do I know that I'm ready to explore coaching? How do I know that I'm ready to have a coach in my business?
Oh, great question. Um, Really quick answer. Um, you are plateaued. Your business has plateaued. It isn't growing. It isn't shrinking. You're just going day to day, and your business has plateaued. And you're looking for what is next for me as a business owner. What is next for my team as a business owner? Um, that is the point where you'll want to consider getting a trusted advisor, a coach, or mentor in your business. Another big aspect of it is what is the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's the other part of it. So many business owners that I talk to today, whether you're running $100 million or a $500 million business, or you're running $100,000 business, is people don't understand where they're at today. So if you're challenged by your friend circles, your business friend circles, you can't talk about your frustration in business with your employees at that moment in time. And you're looking for somebody who's going to be non-judgmental, not pass along any guilt or shame, then coaching is for you, because our job is to help guide you through that process, right? It may not be perfect for everybody. I know I'm not perfect for everybody, but somebody on our team is probably perfect for that type of a person.
So then what about executive coaching? How does that fit into the equation? Or like where, at what point does that kind of fit into the business life cycle?
Okay, so we should probably talk about the difference between business coaching and executive coaching. So in our world, in our action coach world, we have over 3,500 tools that we can bring to the table. I say that because in our world, when we are coaching, and this is the difference between coaches, period, right? So everybody today has either left a job or now it's the catchphrase, I'm a coach. Well, you're right. You can't throw a baseball here in this community without hitting somebody who says they're a coach, but they also have a side hustle, right? That's their side hustle. They have a full-time job, or they quit their job and now they say they're a coach and they're a one-trick pony. Maybe they were in HR, maybe they were in operations, maybe they were in sales, maybe they were in marketing. That's the biggest difference. So in our world of business coaching, there are 7 pillars. We are not going to be the expert in your business. We're going to be the expert in business, from executive level, that, executive coaching, executive level behaviors. Then we're going to talk about the other 6, right? Sales, marketing, IT, HR, operations, and finance. Now, in all of the areas that we coach you to a return on investment. Who's that? Who keeps track of that? You do. If what we're doing in coaching isn't bringing you a return on investment, time, energy, effort, and value, then how do you quantify what we're doing? One of our big principles is test and measure. Well, coaching is a test and measure too. So we have 5 coaches, right? We're all trained similarly, and we all have different experiences that we bring to the table for a client. And all of those tools get measured against dollars and cents. Now, what does that mean to a business owner? Well, if you're not getting a return on investment, we can talk about your team stuff, and team does elevate to dollars and cents, but sometimes we have to talk about the really hard things, profit and loss. We have to talk about, what is your value of time and what is a waste of time. All of those are uncomfortable conversations, but what they lead to at the end of the day is a more profitable business for them, the business owner. Now, once we're working on that, let's talk about executive coaching that goes along with it. Executive coaching is based on behaviors. Executive coaches and coaching cannot always be evaluated on ROI. It can be evaluated on production, it can be productivity. How is that person getting along with the peers in their sphere of influence? There are 2 direct lines. We know executive coaching is usually a set period of time. We know business coaching is however long it takes to get the results they have. And from our standpoint, we've had clients for 10 years. We've had clients for 7. We collectively have a measured retention rate of over 38 months throughout our firm. 38 months. That means that when people come to us, they are getting a return on investment for over 3 years before they graduate and go to do something else.
And kind of a clarity point on that note from the retention, having clients for, 3 years, things like that doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't achieved those initial results, but maybe they've kind of grown into a new version of what they want their business to look like as they've kind of, hit one checkpoint and are moving on to the next one and the next one and the next one.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Look, your business is a living, growing organism. Just because you build a process today, it may not work in 2 years. In 3 years, you may have hit all of your goals, and now you're like, oh, I need to bring a general manager in. Hey, I need to replace me. Our cycle is just that. There's over 640 areas that we just cover in 90-day planning. Once you get through those, it's, now we have to go back and look, what's next? What next for the business? All of these owners at, 2 years are getting a 7 to 10x return on investment. But then maybe they're bringing in their second generation. Maybe they're hiring that next to replace themselves. Maybe they're now we're not just necessarily coaching the CEO or the business owner, but we're coaching 2 or 3 members of their team to help them with their business acumen, to help them grow.
Mm. How important do you think that is? Let's say you've got a few vice presidents or presidents within the company, step or two removed from that owner or CEO level, and having how important is it for them to have a pretty good business acumen and understanding how their department ties into the overall business?
It is absolutely imperative. So many times, and you don't have to be an expert in every area. You have to be an expert in your area, but you also have to have a general understanding of how does marketing tie to sales. So many times I hear, well, operation and sales don't get along. Well, of course not. They never are. But the idea is you can't have one without the other. Those two leaders need to understand the value proposition of each of their roles. And they need to understand how does the inputs in, let's say you're manufacturing, inputs in manufacturing directly affect the ability to sell. And the ability to sell is directly affects the outputs or into the business. They tie directly together. They must understand each area of the business at least a high level.
Mm. So if there's a business owner out there today that's exploring the concept of coaching, not sure if it's right for them yet, and you could leave them with one piece of advice, regardless if it's choosing Action Coach or our firm or not, just like the general concept
Yeah,
of have a mentor, have a coach, that sort of thing. What one piece of kind of advice or just information would you want to leave them with today?
that's a great question. Go check it out. Stop thinking you know what others and coaches are going to tell you, and go into our process, their process. Go see what you don't know today. Once you get through that process, your gut, your brain, if they bring a value to you and they show you how they're going to make you money, then you'll know what's right for you. But sitting on the sidelines thinking you got it all figured out, you don't need a coach, that's great. Perfect. You have the I know mindset. Nothing we say will change that. But if you're curious on how to scale or grow or give generational wealth to your family or have something that is a sellable asset, then you probably want to engage with a mentor, an executive coach, or a business coach on some level.
Hmm. I've got one more question that I want to kind of bring into this conversation because I think it's super relevant, and we'll kind of end on that. How many coaches have you had personally over the your career in building businesses and things like that? What has that been like for you? How many coaches? What types of coaches have you had?
Oh, great question. I don't actually know the number. Uh, so mentors, 7, 8, 9 coaches. Well, I've had at least 14 because I've been in it for 14 years. And I do transition from coach to coach. Not every coach has what I needed or was I good fit for. So I would say over the last 30 years, but specifically as a coach, it is mandatory in our business that we have, it's mandatory in our firm as senior partners, right? In our Action Coach of Central Texas, it is mandatory that we have a coach. Um, I have had a coach every day since the day I started an Action Coach, and I will continue. So if I had to put a number on it, as a coach, I would say at least 14.
Have you ever had a period of time where you went without a coach?
Only when I had my first business and I didn't know what I didn't know. Here, I've always had a coach. Congruency. I love those. I love it when coaches say that they don't need a coach because they are the coach. That just cracks me up all the time.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the conversation. I think over the next few weeks, we'll continue to pull together some additional topics, things like that. So if you see this, put some comments in the comments below. Would love to kind of hear what are some of the topics you want to hear about. Pick the coach's brain. business builder's brain, all that kind of stuff. And we'll continue to pull out some content, some information, and hopefully pull some beautiful nuggets of information out of Andy's brain from his number of years doing this. So, Andy, thanks for taking the time today.
Absolutely. Next time I'll be at my desk.